Hey people, I've been studying these four walls in Tutankhamun's burial chamber and some of this other art that was in his stash. They got a lot of writings and art on them and some secrets hidden up in the corners. They put it on gold because gold is noble, it's non-reactant, and it all preserved real well. And it's easy to tell, it's all about astrology. See the star on each one's head, and it's pretty easy to tell this is the cycle of Venus here, because it's got enter and then 18 months would be the cycle of Venus. And he's got two different cartouches they use to represent him, but this is Kafiri, and this explains more about the last movie I did on this monkey wall over here. It tells where he got this information. But you see, gods and kings, they carry this Ankh, is what they say it is. And you see it up in here in what they call his name. They'll pronounce it as Ankh, but I don't think so. I think it pronounces as Ants or Ankh, as in France or Frank. It means kissed by God. A-N was the gods, and the K was the give. But I believe that K pronounced as C here, and it's where the word enhance come from. When you're kissed by God, you're enhanced, and elegance and emancipation. And so I found this word, the patio, in the Greek, and this really helped break some loose. The patio means open. It means on the front porch. It means it's open, for anybody to duck out of the rain. But it also means it's covered to duck out of the rain. And so emancipation, is them God's given patio, the open patio, the freon. Them God given. This is where your Ankh comes from. It's the man given patio, open. But there's more hidden in the word patio. And you see it in this study of Tutankhamun. It means covered. It means open there for everybody to see, but it's covered information. It's still secret. It's the same ants. It comes from enhance, Old English forms, Old English in German, the Hanser. And then they'll try to force it over here on this French, with no N in here. And they're trying to force this to make it higher. But, enhance, is just God-given, made greater. And they're trying to force it to this louder, to raise in from a Latin, from a in alter. And so in alter, we know that means to change. They're trying to force this heighten on it, to raise up in altus. But, it's more this Ankh in Frankish, the Ankh, the Frankish are from France. It's an augment, a change for the better, to improve something by adding features. And so this is what it says plain out. The same thing repeats here 4 times, and this is a C-H-A-N-G, the change, the third vowel, the U, and cover, the change cover. And then this is they'll give it the O in Cleopatra, but I believe it's more of a L-E, as in the land, but it could be on, but the lend, L-N-D-A-R, the lender of F-U-L-Y-O-N, fully on. That's a lion, L-I-O-N. They'll just give it the letter L, and that's where they mixed it up on the cartouche of Cleopatra, and they read them all backwards anyway, but they'll give this the O and this the L. But yeah, that's what it says plain out, is change cover, the lender of fully on. And so I'm fixing to prove that there was no King Tut. And when they read these cartouches, they'll always go to the middle. Sometimes they'll go to the top. They'll switch up. They're trying to force a meaning on it. But this says the God Anu. It just says it in a different way. And you don't read this from the middle. It reads here. This is the AMN N. And so the double N lets you know there's an I following. And it's a min. And then T-U-T, a minute what? A minute what? A-N-C. A minute what? And on A-N-C-E-E-K. And sec. N-H on second. And the X, a T, on seconds. A minute what on seconds means 60. That's what all this art was about. It's about the base 60. You know, it's about the 6, the 5 is the 30. And to come anew means 60. You know, the 2 cycles of 30 is 60. The 5 cycles of the 12. And that would be the old Sumerian number for Anu, the sky god. And it means they were on a 60 count cycle. And you count to 60 and then you knew. You go back to 1 again. Anu is the 60, the greatest of all the gods. You know, a minute what on seconds. On seconds. You see this is a crook, and to me it looks like a butter churn. They'll call it a column. And this is one of the X's, the plants. You know, the crook is the ek. And the column is the ent. And they give it an extra Y there. Enti. And so it's the seconds. A minute what on seconds? 60. And then it all reads backwards. And it's intake on set what? And NMN, naming. A minute what on seconds? It's intake on set what? Naming. And not necessarily naming, but you know, on setting them in. On setting them in. The seed from cycle, you know, to setting them in their place. A minute what on seconds? It's take on setting them in. And so what I was picking up between 1 John and here, this let me know where this information come from. And this is a NB, and I give this, they say it means earth, and so I give it the ARX, just like in the Hebrew. I don't know what they give it, but you know, it's NVERTS. 2 of them makes it followed by an I. And so it's inverts and then tit. This is the T that you'll see in the open hand when it says at. And so it's inverts it, and ra, you know, R, cover, recover. Inverts it, recover, U, and NB, recovering, and VU, back up. Turn around, go back up. Recovering view, Kafri, KPRRE, the Kafri, you know, and it's recoverance. Recover this information of the base 60 from the pyramid of Kafri. And so if you missed that yesterday, excellent movie, and I explain most all of this writing and calendar here. And I'll put all of these, I think I got 5 of them that I've been reading in the 1 John that talks about this. I'll put them all in one folder. And I'll probably put it under the name of Baba Bull, which is the name of this monkey here. It's where your word Babel comes from. And this is talking about the language change. So I was reading here in 1 John. This isn't the gospel. This is that later John. In John 2 when I found this, and it was saying, you know, to a file, to put them in a file according to the God as, according to the kind as. It was talking about the parapet, you know, that's the walk overhead as in, and of to sow to the spear of it they in. And this little line up here, it actually means to move the E over. So it's read, you know, EY, they, and then EN, they in. And so it's telling, you know, to put them in a file according to, underneath as, the kind as the parapet is in. And that's the ones, the parapet is the 5 weeks. You know, the 5 weeks walking up overhead on the parapet, and the 2 hemis according to their kind. The 2 Hemis according to their kind of the month, and the 5 weeks according to their days. And then it was the next line, a new commandment, and the first word jumped out, and that's what caught my attention. I knew this is a on, and then an APH, ape. On an ape to you sent all on. Beloved, the ape that all the scribes love, taught the teacher of scribes, an ape to you sent all on, a commandment. Went on graph, definitely graphs we're looking at. The graph them in, to put them in a graph. All in told in Palian, in the old red language. All in told in Palian on each it of porches of, an P-A-R-X, porches. And so in the first movie, in this series, it was the Ark of the Covenant, and I explained where this word comes from, and it means the secret, And so it's not just the beginning, it's the beginning, but it's the beginning to start learning the porches, the secrets of arches. So I'm going to make this a short one. I don't believe I could get all this in. I'll have too much difficulty trying to edit it. But I'll start reading here at 7, and I'll read all this down to, I think, 17 is where I'm wanting to get to, 17 or 18, before the beware of the Antichrist. And this is actually where the word John come from, is right here. It's the I-O-N is the Hebrew word for day or time. A ton, a Jonah, a time. And a Jonah, that's a dove. The age. Tana yawn. Yawn means it's been a long time. Yawning, tired of it. But I want to get all this read in one for that preacher that told me that there is no astrology in the Bible, because it plainly says God abides to the age. God abides to the age. And it's not just God abides, but it's of the poion, the mouth on to tell him, the mouth on to tell him to, with how many they is it on the age on, the poion to the tell him of the many his to Tana John, to put on a time, Tana, to put it on, Tana to Tana time. And so it plainly says, it's talking about more than one God. Everybody gets their turn of a time. Alright, I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.
I am the Antichrist, and I approve of this message.